Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Saturday, January 23rd, 2021. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as the souls are already living by the many search for truth rules already given to the search for truth community by wiser minds above all of us. And whether or not the souls live to the rules, it's really irrelevant to the host lives, because the host lives are still beholden to the rules. And if we don't even follow the rules, then we're going to attract souls who aren't following the rules, and that is never a good day. For him is the message. Why do you ask? Somebody's sad and they're talking about Garth Brooks singing Amazing Grace.
That's what they're talking about.
At Joe Biden's inauguration, and how 40 million people, ballpark, watched that inauguration, and Garth Brooks asked everybody to sing along with the song Amazing Grace when he sang it. And in the United States, 91% are either Christian, 65% identify as Christian, and 26% self-identify as no religious affiliation.
That's right.
But presumably they know the song Amazing Grace.
Oh.
It's a well-known song. It's been around for a long time. And a lot of people sang along with Garth Brooks that day, we think. The people watching at home did sing along with them, and maybe not 40 million, but maybe 30 million, and we think it was closer to 40 million, sang Amazing Grace all together at a time when, in this country at least, there's a lot of tension, and we think around the world there's a lot of tension.
Yeah, that's true.
We have the pressures of a pandemic, the climate change realities are beginning to come home to roost. We have the waves of mass migration of not only other species but also of humanity.
Exactly.
Already beginning. War everywhere, which is a classic signal of overpopulation. It's like the too many rats in a cage.
That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, when you get too many rats in a cage, they all fight each other. And, mammals are all the same. They use rats as test subjects to come up with pharmaceuticals for humans.
That's right.
It's the same. We should look at the rats fighting when there's too many of them and make some clever extrapolations and adjust our own ways, but we don't seem to be inclined to do that.
No.
So we look like we are kind of on the level of bacteria as a collective, unfortunately, because bacteria will overpopulate the petri dish and
that's what they're talking about.
Collapse. So here, in these host lives, we're part of a group of precisely 1 million souls who had been assigned the job of holding open portals, either to or from higher vibrations, depending on how it's worded.
That's right.
So that higher vibration presences can see what's going on in the depths and form workable plans to stop the destruction in a fair and just way, since that's the assignment to humanity right now in this historic era. And it'll have to be prospective history, because there's not likely to be very many of us around after the collapse of societies as we know them, unfortunately. Really, humanity by and large has lost the skills of raising food, and that's key. That's a key skill. For him is a message. Why do you ask? And more to the point, good quality souls don't really like lives that are grubbing in the dirt, quote
unquote. That's what they're talking about.
They just don't like it. They like to live nice, clean lives where there's readily available food and electricity and running water and education, etc. They like the Renaissance, not the Middle Ages.
That's right.
Definitely not the Stone Age. For him is the message, and why do you ask? So we have this assignment to hold open the portals so that wiser minds above can form workable plans based in reality with 6 months dependable levels of backup, because that's the minimum that guardian angels ask for, is a minimum of 6 months dependable predictions.
That's right.
So if we can't give guardian angels a workable plan, how are they supposed to tell their charges what to do in a way that works? So the wiser minds above are supposed to come up with a divine plan that's based in reality with 6 months dependable levels of backup that will stop the destruction in a fair and just way. The destruction being, in answer to someone's question, in a room of higher powers. The destruction being the destruction of what scientists expect to be all life on Earth at humanity's hands, using tools sent in by the spirit world, and that's bad. That's a bad thing, just to clear it up.
Right.
In case anybody's confused, that's bad. So as presences charged with the job of holding open the portals, we've been very aware that it's been extremely difficult to hold open portals to actual consistent sources of significantly higher vibration, which is the most accurate definition of divinity we've been able to come up with.
That's right.
So we were really fascinated by Mr. Garth's experiment of singing and leading the nation, 40 million viewers, in singing Amazing Grace. And somebody asked why that is, and somebody else says because singing to God is what opens the portals best, other than certain extremely specialized techniques that it takes many, 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 many years to develop. So singing to God will work, and Amazing Grace is a wonderful and relevant song, and we were really fascinated to see that even with all those voices singing Amazing Grace, that when watching the clog in the portals that's separating Ground Zero, planet Earth, and more, separating us down here in the muck from divinity, that it wasn't even enough to get a single blub through the muck.
That's how it feels, still mud.
Just completely solid mud, like the Yellowstone mud pots have stopped burping.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
And not even that many voices singing Amazing Grace. It wasn't enough, and we were fascinated by that, and we were showing the wiser minds above that that was the case, and presumably other people were also. We're not saying we're the only ones, but we noticed that night, Wednesday night, in the overnight between Wednesday and Thursday, something happened, and it was like an enormous divine hand reached down and pulled that clog out and got rid of it.
That's right.
And now, well, hello? And now there's airflow where there wasn't airflow before.
That's right.
And now what we can see is what looks like we're crabs in a bucket.
Yes.
And we can see the rim of the bucket, and we can see that there is an outside of the bucket, but we can't really see what is outside the bucket, just that there is an outside of the bucket experience.
That's true.
And we feel the other crabs and the pulliness and the pinchers and the fighting.
That's right.
It's unclear what this all represents. Other than that, it's life inside a black hole of corruption.
That's what they're talking about.
And what we still need is a divine plan with 6 months dependable levels of backup that's based in reality that will stop the destruction in a fair and just way. And we have, I think it's Saul who's saying, and we have this one known pattern that is known to have worked in other black holes of corruption, and that's for the unused guardian angelhood to converge on the bad tail of the bell curve of karma and deliver accumulated karma to the worst of the worst, the 1 to 10% who is worst, depending on what argument is being promulgated in the moment of why that can't possibly be done.
Exactly.
And just beat the bejeebies out of them, deliver their accumulated karma to them. And who is the worst of the worst? Somebody's asking. And it is those who are pulling the engine of destruction the hardest. Executives in fossil fuel industries, executives in poison industries, executives in pharmaceutical industries that contribute to overpopulation, people who are blocking those who wish to depart, people who are blocking anything that limits overpopulation. Factory farms are highly destructive, etc. The executives in all those industries. Maybe we've left out some. For whom is the message? Why do you ask? So anyway, we have this realization that the clog is freshly out, and therefore presumably it's possible that our prayers can go up higher than we're able to accomplish before the clog was removed. And therefore we want to put these questions on the table that have been unanswered.
And try to get them up above the lip of that bucket.
Yes.
Do you know that on planet Earth, it's almost as if there is no upward flow?
Oh, I see somebody coming over and looking into the bucket.
I feel leaning. Do you know that on planet Earth there is dimension upon dimension of undead who aren't killable since they're dead?
I feel like somebody is reaching in the bucket and holding up a little thing, like maybe a little crab, like a hermit crab.
That's what it looks like with the shell on the back.
Yeah, and the one claw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that on planet Earth there is a mass agreement to no longer care what's true, but to simply take position?
It feels like that person is handing up the crab higher, and somebody else is holding up the crab and handing the crab up higher, and somebody else handing the crab up higher. Keep going.
Do you know that on planet Earth karma is delayed until after death?
And now they just said no, that's impossible.
That's exactly what they said. That's not possible. That's impossible.
Let's try it again.
Do you know?
Why do you say it's impossible? Why do you say it's impossible? Help us understand. Do you hear any answer?
No, I don't hear anything.
Now, see if they'll catch it this time. Try again.
Do you know that on planet Earth karma is delayed until after death?
I think they just put the crab back in the bucket.
That's what it feels like, a drop.
Mm-hmm.
Big drop and then quiet.
What now? What now to inspire a divine plan based in reality with 6 months dependable levels of backup to stop the destruction in a fair and just way, because any plan that presumes karma being delivered concurrent to the experiences of life will fail, and we can't even get them to deliver accumulated karma to the 1 to 10% worst of the worst. Even though we're also asking for our karma to be delivered to us instantly, and also accumulations of karma to be delivered. And somebody asks why we're doing that, and it's because we're aware that death is certain, but the time of death is uncertain.
That's right.
Today could be the day, you never know. And we don't want to cross over with a big bag full of unaddressed karma. We'd like it delivered as we go. Thanks for his message. Why do you ask? Baxter wants a divine plan based in reality. That might not be what Baxter wants. But I don't think that Baxter wants a boatload of bad karma waiting for him when he dies. This is inevitable. True. We would say that nobody would want that. That's just a nasty, mean plan, in our personal opinion. And we understand how difficult it is to determine karma for the center of the bell curve of karma. It's very difficult, very confusing, but for the tails of the bell curve of karma, it's not that complex. What is it? What is it? We know that Baxter is showing us something, and we don't know what that is. But he's a beautiful bringer of messages.
That is true.
And he's trying to say something, and we don't understand what it is. Sorry, can you see Baxter? Baxter's a rescue, and he had a very difficult start of his life, and then the center stage of his life was even worse than the start.
That's right.
And then he came here, and he's been with us for 2 years and a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the proud owner of 4 sweaters and jackets, and 3 doggy beds, and 3 doggy blankets, and many fine toys. Oh, 4 doggy beds. We didn't count that one. 4 doggy beds. He's just a very well taken care of little doggy. And he still uses as his go-to bullying.
That's right. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, and bullying is a nasty, mean plan, and that's what this planet was unfortunately based on. All life on Earth. Darwin described it as survival of the fittest.
That's what they're talking about.
But that's just what he said. It's let the biggest bully prevail, and that's why Pan said this is just a nasty, mean plan, and we can do better. And nobody was listening to him.
No.
We can definitely relate to. And so
right.
he signed this deal with the spirit world, and it was a nasty planet, but it was full of life. And now we still have bullying, and we have 96% of mammals are now domesticants. Only 4% are still wild. And we're still shooting at them like people hunt, and we should stop shooting. 96-4, we won. Like, how is it sportsman-like to continue to shoot? And we have collapses of migrating birds, collapses not only of migrating mammals, but migrating birds. And we're still shooting at them too. We should stop. It's nasty and mean, and now we're armed and dangerous. For him is the message. Why do you ask? Please may we have a divine plan based in reality with 6 months dependable levels of backup to stop the destruction in a fair and just way. And we might have 3 years to get carbon neutral. This is not normal weather for these latitudes.
No, that's true.
The weather patterns are severely disrupted already, and we need to get carbon neutral now. We're waiting for the next IPCC report, International Panel on Climate Change, and we don't expect it to be very good based on the scientists who are posting their results as they go.
Exactly.
It's bad. And we can't even really get climate change into the conversation.
No.
So it's not looking good right now. How may we be of service? Please may we have a divine plan based in reality with 6 months dependable levels of backup that stops the destruction in a fair and just way.
If I can ask you to sing this last verse with me, not just the people here, but the people at home, at work, as one, united. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I